I think he's almost cemented himself as MVP in that game.
Coach of the year for me, no question.
There's still records to be broken out there, folks.
It's killer, isn't it?
It's a killer, that.
If you've not seen the game, go and watch it.
Surely we get another go at this. And no, they call the game dead.
Merry Christmas and welcome back to the Early Hours podcast. The NFL schedule is in full festive swing, and as such we're bringing you a Christmas special recapping all of last week's action and previewing week 17. Before we start, guys, what was on your Christmas list? Did you get everything you wanted?
Well, I asked for a Packers win. I ended up with a mug. So you could say I was mugged off.
You could. It's a fairly nice mug though.
It's good. It's nice. There
Good
we
for
go.
the festive time. Smells, did you get that jumper or?
No, the jumper's been around for a while. What I did get was an absolute masterclass on Monday night. So, the one seed's very much alive, and I'm a very happy boy with my regular mug, unfortunately, but here we are.
Amazing. Well, yeah, we'll get on to that game later on in the episode. Before then, guys, Thursday night football, we called it, and it did not disappoint. The Seahawks beating the Rams 38-37. Puka Nacua making fantasy managers happy despite that loss in overtime.
Honestly, I mean, I'd be very surprised if either of you, off memory, could tell us of a better game you've ever watched. It was outstanding, as we called, and I'm not going to lie, I called it. The Rams, they did exactly what I said they shouldn't do. They let the Seahawks hang around, and this time the Seahawks didn't disappoint. Smith and Jigba, Kenneth Walker, Sam Darnold, just great execution, and the Rams have only got themselves to blame. But what I will say is Matt Stafford, I think he's almost cemented himself as MVP in that game. He was outstanding. But yeah, two amazing teams this season. Can't knock either of them.
Yeah, what a game. Nearly 460 yards, 3 touchdowns. And I think that number alone just tells you how much the Rams were able to drive down the field, have these aggressive stretches throughout the game, and just fell short through nothing, not taking anything away from Seattle, but a bit of luck, really. I think, 3 2-point conversions that, granted they've made the decision to go for it, so they've absolutely put themselves in those positions, but just a crazy bit of fortune with certain play calls and certain decisions, including the walk-off 2-point conversion in overtime as well. That alone puts this game in the history books. Seattle become the first team ever to win in an overtime game via a 2-point conversion. So
Really?
Yep, first ever. So
That's crazy.
Absolutely.
You're not telling me no one's braved a 2-point conversion in overtime ever in the history of the NFL? There's still records to be broken out there, folks.
I'll tell you what, drop in the comments if we're out of our minds for that, please, because it sounds it, doesn't it? Sometimes we say these stats and we have questioned ourselves throughout the season, really, of whether we're right, but I think it's just the nature of this season. It's been that crazy and there's been that many records broken. So, yeah, and to do so after trailing from 15 plus points, I think, in the fourth quarter was just incredible. So, can't take anything away from Seattle. It was a mega game.
Definitely. I think Seattle a worthy winner there, but look, they are literally two of the best teams in football. And JSN as well, not quiet either. He racked up 22 points in fantasy. So, yeah, dividends all round if you are fantasy managers of those players. Oliver, going back to your Christmas present, I hope there's something strong in that mug, because it's time to talk about it. The Bears 22, Packers 16. Look, I stayed up to watch this game, and even after that opening drive where we didn't take the 3 points, shock, that's not like us, it just looked like the writing was on the wall.
Yeah, I mean, let's be clear that the loss hurts for Green Bay. It hurts our campaign. It hurts our chances of securing anything, beyond a wildcard position. Granted, we sit at about 94% after the loss for the Lions on Sunday, but yeah, it just hurts. All the numbers suggested that we should have closed this one out.
Well, the Bears had a half a percentage, a 0.5 percentage to come out with a win in that game. And we threw it all away.
We controlled time of possession. We won early downs. We led by double digits twice in the game. So it's just, yeah, it's killer. It really is. But ultimately, failure to secure the onside kick recovery, that inability to convert the late game possessions, which we've shown multiple times this year. Granted, it was a lot on the shoulders of Malik Willis, and then 0 for 3 on offensive drives towards the end of the game. So, you know what I mean? The writing's on the wall, really. You're opening the door, and that's all you need to do against a top team this season, not just in the NFC North, but in the NFC.
I think obviously Caleb Williams to DJ Moore last second will obviously get all the headlines, but The short kickoff return was something that obviously you don't see very often. But props to Malik Willis, came in the game, I thought played really well and had an amazing touchdown himself to Romeo Dobbs. So good game, and hopefully I'd love to see these two teams meet again in the playoffs. It's 1-1, winner takes all to hopefully go and maybe play in a championship game. Two great teams, two great games as well between them.
You'd love to see the squads bolstered again. I know Odunze's been out for both games, so it'd be nice to get him back and see what sort of can he add another dimension to Chicago's game. On the flip side, we obviously want to see Jordan Love fit if they're going to go toe to toe. And yeah, I'd like to see Zach Tom back. He's expected back for the playoffs. That'd be nice, just to give. We know how strong Love was earlier portions of the season, or certainly through Toyotathon. When Zach Tom's fit and the blitz, he can sustain the blitz a little bit more.
Ja'Day Walker, he's had 8 snaps all season. Like, not receptions. He's had 8 snaps all season. He's the one who got the touchdown that went to overtime. So that's just our luck. But also, can we just say that the play calling from Fox, if you've not seen the game, go and watch it. Because, Kevin Buckard and Tom Brady, it was a masterclass. It really, if you were a Bears fan, you'd be replaying that time and time again. That probably will not get old and gets you hyped for the rest of the season. So a team that's not hyped for the rest of the season is the Cowboys. They lost to the Chargers 17-34. The Cowboys not even getting a chance to control their destiny. The Chargers still fighting for that top spot in the AFC West. And then a game that we called would be pretty tight, but the Panthers coming away with it. The Panthers beating the Bucs 23-20. They outclassed that Bucs side, and now the Panthers, they go top of the NFC South.
It was a real back and forth game. I think that's pretty much the epitome of the NFC South this season. I'll keep it really short and sweet. Bryce Young finally looking like the 1 seed that he's hopefully destined to be. He was really good. And then McMillan as well, 73 yards, 1 touchdown. Properly getting on top of Egbuka, and now gone for more yards this season than Egbuka, and probably in the running for Offensive Rookie of the Year.
They're actually a really solid team, the Panthers, but there always seems to be 1 or 2 things that lets them down on the day. This week it was third downs, only making 7 of 11. So whilst it doesn't necessarily sound that drastic, you are still, you're still falling short at times and letting the Bucs come back on, and we know how disruptive that Bucs side can be.
The Dolphins 21, the Bengals 45. Joe Burrow back to balling out, and Chase Brown with 3 touchdowns. Sorry if you were getting fantasy notifications and you were seeing the word Chase, but it was the running back getting 2 receiving touchdowns and 1 rushing there. The Saints 29, Jets 6. New Orleans now winning 3 on the bounce, and a few Saints fans pioneering for a Tyler Shook statue already. And then we've got the Broncos 20, Jaguars 34. The Broncos now go 12-3. Jacksonville upsetting those AFC frontrunners.
Quickly on the Saints, forced 4 turnovers. They had 6 sacks, and they held the Jets to under 250 yards. So just a quick shout out to Brandon Staley. That is an unbelievable effort and a defense that's definitely going under the radar. Moving on, like you said, Goody, on the Jacks and Broncos, unbelievable game. Trevor Lawrence, 279 yards, 3 touchdowns. That guy's flying, and absolutely took it to the Broncos on a day where, let's not forget, we called this last week, they could have clinched the AFC number 1 seed. They didn't. They fell short, but in the process, they opened the window for the Chargers to come back in, and that battle's absolutely still on the cards.
It's almost as if the Broncos are fraudulent. Look, not taking anything away from the Jags, but you still lost to the Jags, Denver, so, But anyway, still in the running for that AFC top spot there, but the Patriots now breathing down your neck. We've got the Lions 24, Steelers 29. The Steelers continuing to ball out here, and more importantly, doing the Packers a massive favour in snubbing the Lions to keep the NFC in check.
It was Mike Tomlin's 200th win, I think, which was cool. He had quite a cool walk-off moment with Aaron Rodgers along one side, and I can't remember, it was a defensive end, I think, on the left of him. But yeah, it was really cool. The Lions just outgaining Pittsburgh for majority of the game, but Pittsburgh, again, we've spoke about certain calls or certain plays in the game that can swing it for the Seahawks earlier in the show, but that was absolutely the case for Pittsburgh. And what a controversial play at the end. Amon-Ra looks like he's in. He's got the cutback on Jalen Ramsey after a shove. Next minute, the flags are flying in. It's OPI calls. Dan Campbell's on the sideline. Surely we get another go at this. And no, they call the game dead. That's it. The Lions' chance has dropped to 6%, I believe now, and it's looking gloomy in Detroit.
Yeah, it's worth noting that's the 3rd controversial decision that's cost the Lions. What I do want to say is Mike Tomlin's been the head coach of the Steelers for 18 years, and every single season they've had a winning record. So that is outstanding. So yeah, fair play to Mike Tomlin. Hopefully one day he'll have a Super Bowl winning caliber squad, because he is well worthy of it.
With those sort of plays as well that get just called dead, you almost sort of can't believe your eyes, just because you see the players lining up to take the snap again, and half the coaching staff are already on the team, and it's just one of those things where you're like, what is happening in this game of the NFL? It's proper exciting. Another what is happening moment was when the Patriots beat the Ravens. Patriots kind of getting a reality check here after coming up against a half decent side in Baltimore, but they get the win 28-24. But boy, did they make it difficult for themselves.
Drake May had a day, didn't he? He had a good day. It didn't set the world alight, but he threw decent yardage. I think it was near enough 400 passing yards, something crazy. So anytime a quarterback gives you that opportunity, the chances are, we always speak about this, you're going to give the players on your team an opportunity to feel elevated. You're going to give an opportunity for them to find the end zone, and he did just that. It was crucial. You're absolutely right. They nearly let Lamar and the Ravens in. Unfortunate for Baltimore to see Lamar go down. It's never what you want to see, but it kind of killed the game, and it just allowed the Patriots to sneak over the line, which another team in the AFC that have done that all season, I'd love to see, and I'm sure we're going to come on to this, but could the Bills have a late stab at that AFC East and really mix the playoff standings up?
Potentially. We will come on to it shortly. Before then, let's just round out week 16. The Colts and 49ers, 27-48. The Colts at one point, they were 7-1. And now they're 8-7. Are they still a playoff caliber team?
Just before he jumps in here, because I know he's dying to talk about this for me is offensive ceilings for these two teams, right? This is they really gave it their all, and I know Phillip Rivers hasn't broken the headlines, he really hasn't, but my God, trash talking when you're down, still driving his team down the field, still trying to make plays, and what more can you say for the Niners? Incredible. They could go on and genuinely win it all. And yeah, Shanahan, coach of the year for me, no question.
We just love to see it. You're down, you're still giving it the trash talk. It's really good to see for him, and they're a good side. But yeah, unfortunately, they have ruined their chances. They're 8-7, and they probably need a bit of a miracle now. So I do feel for the Colts fans, and Sauce Gardner must be sat at home and going, what do I have to do here to get a playoff?
Little did he know that he was going to come up against Brock Purdy, who can score 5 passing touchdowns, distributing the ball what genuinely looked effortless. McCaffrey over 100 rushing yards on the night. Kittle 115 receiving. Yeah, there was touchdowns, there was yardage everywhere. What a game. Monster game.
It's also worth mentioning that we've now won 5 straight by over 10 points, which is the second longest streak in the Kyle Shanahan era. And the 5 touchdowns by Brock Purdy is the most in Super Bowl 29, which was Steve Young. So he genuinely is playing some really good football. And, we are 5 home games away from getting the ring. So, yeah, we'll see. But Brock Purdy, we can argue all day whether he is or not. He's playing like an elite quarterback. And then, yeah, we've got the guys around him. And, yeah, if we can get Fred Warner back in the playoffs, honestly, we'll win the whole thing.
5 home games, including Super Bowl 60 at Levi's. Is that?
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay,
Absolutely.
Brilliant. Oliver, you said at the start of that segment that, the 49ers were breaking records. I'm surprised that Phillip Rivers hasn't broken his legs, actually, with how old he is. Okay, look, Merry Christmas, guys. Again, looking ahead to the games tonight on Christmas Day. Got the Cowboys at the Commanders. Both teams, they're out the playoffs. There's no easy way to kind of sugarcoat this. So if there's one game that you're going to be going on your Christmas walk for, it's probably this one. But make sure you're back in time for this. It's the Lions at the Vikings. Detroit here basically playing to keep their playoff hopes alive in this heated NFC North divisional matchup.
Yeah, they'll be keeping a close eye on the Packers-Ravens game as well, because that is all but crucial for the success of their playoff campaign. They always seem to find a way to play on the holiday games, don't they? The seasonal games. We were obviously at the last one. That was a sweet memory on Thanksgiving. And yeah, they'll be going for it. Cute, but big game. Jared Goff going to be firing, hopefully, and it's an NFC North game, so there's always going to be an atmosphere for sure. Should be a fun one.
Definitely. And rounding out the festive fun, we've got an AFC West divisional matchup as well. The Chiefs here, they're not only out of the playoffs, they're not only out of their backup quarterback in Gardner Minshew, but they're also seemingly out of a home stadium come 2031.
It's not often that you get to this stage of the season and you're talking about this fixture where the Broncos are the favourite in the game. But then also on top of that, the fact that the Broncos need this win still. It's crazy to think they could have sealed it last week, and they still need a win. The pressure's going to be on them. It really is. I think this could be a really interesting one. I think the Chiefs have still got a lot of pride to fight for. If anything, any divisional matchup, like we just spoke about the Lions and the Vikings, there's still pride on the line. So keep a close eye on it. It's going to come down to the wire.
Yeah, the Chiefs looking for pride after losing to the Titans of all people last week. But yeah, it's almost like they're trying to steal some headlines after crashing out of the playoffs, the Chiefs, with this stadium announcement. And definitely a conversation for the off-season here on the Early Hours podcast, I think, because there's definitely a conversation to be having about the art of the dying, open top stadiums, with the plans for this Chiefs stadium being another sort of dome. So one to watch out for in the off-season for sure. Elsewhere in week 17, we've got the Ravens at the Packers. It's simple here for Green Bay. A win and you're in. Can't get simpler than that. Come on, boys. And then you got the Steelers at the Browns, an AFC North divisional here. Myles Garrett, he's still needing just a single sack here to break the all-time season record. He's up against a 42-year-old Aaron Rodgers. He should be able to get this done with a light jog. And then you got the Eagles at the Bills. The Eagles confirming their NFC East top spot last week. The Bills, they're still hunting for that top spot in their division. If they fail to win here, it'd be the first time in 5 years that they've not won the AFC East.
Yeah, this could be a great game. It's Hurts versus Allen. It's also Barkley versus Cook. Two running backs who on their day can literally change games. And you've got the current Super Bowl winners, and you're talking Josh Allen, the current MVP, who doesn't have to go through the usual suspects, Burrow, Lamar, Mahomes, etc. So this could be a Super Bowl preview. I've probably just got the Bills, but super not confident in it. I'm hoping the Bills. I'm hoping Josh Allen can get it done. But yeah, huge game.
I fancy the Bills as well, actually.
I've got the Bills in this. I think we're a clean sweep. I think the Patriots, I could see dropping another game before the end of the year, and I could just see the Bills. We touched on it earlier. I could see them nicking it.
Rounding out our preview here for week 17, we've got the Bears at 49ers, potentially one of the best games of the season. Both teams 11-4. Both teams already having clinched the playoffs, but both teams still fighting for that number 1 seed.
Yeah, he needs to have another game like he did against us at the end. Caleb Williams, that 250 yards, the 2 touchdowns, he needs to bring that form. Ben Johnson will be pulling out every playbook in his bag of tricks. I can tell you that for free. And we also know that Kyle Shannon on the other side of it in that West Coast scheme, he'll have a bag of tricks as well. There'll be jet sweeps, there'll be play actions, there'll be all sorts kicking around. I think it could be a really fun game for the neutral, but there is absolutely, I'd hate to be a fan in this one because the nerves on this. You're talking a prime time game, you're talking 1 seeds on the line, you're talking divisions on the line, you're talking all sorts. The implications are huge. I'm going to go with the Bears, I think, but I could be wrong.
I don't disagree. I think we're talking about 2 of possibly the most underrated quarterbacks in the league going against each other. I think at Levi's, I've probably got to favour the 49ers, but again, we've got to make sure we put them down because Caleb Williams is just that guy for comebacks at the minute. Yeah, great game. And as a UK fan, 1:20 in the morning.
It's killer, isn't it?
It's a killer, that. But yeah, huge game and yeah, massive implications for the 1 seed.
The last thing on that, you talk about both QBs underrated. Turnover differential is not ideal for either QB. It hasn't been over the course of the season, so watch out for secondaries and linebackers going nuclear on picks and interceptions. I think that could be an area where the game gets exploited.
Well, if you've got any annual leave left, then I'd be taking it so you can watch this in peace and not feel tired the next morning. Definitely a game to watch and season defining, I think, in terms of where these teams are going to end up in that playoff picture. That's it, boys. Quite a long one today. I was actually going to talk about in terms of Mac Jones and Malik Willis being the best backup quarterbacks in the league, but we can go on to that later on in the off-season, potentially, at the risk of making this edit even longer for myself. So, yeah, we will see you in a week's time to preview the final games of the regular season, and happy holidays again from all of us.